Welcome to Royal Sleep, your sanctuary for a night of profound rest. In a world that never stops, we offer you a space to let go. Our carefully crafted stories are more than just words. They are a gentle escape from the day's worries, a soothing guide to a deeper sleep. By joining us, you are choosing to prioritize your well-being. Our narratives will help you find tranquility, leading to a more refreshing sleep and a brighter tomorrow. Dim the lights, settle in, and let your journey to Royal Sleep begin. Sweet dreams. The Dreamweaver of Twilight Bay. A bedtime story for peaceful sleep. The lighthouse at Twilight Bay was different from all others along the misty northern coast. Built from stones that shimmered with their own inner light, it rose from a small island connected to the mainland by a narrow causeway that disappeared beneath the waves at high tide. For 15 peaceful years, Jonathan Moonwhisper had been its keeper, believing that solitude was the lighthouse's greatest gift to him. That changed on the night of the autumn equinox, when the lighthouse began to dream. Jonathan first noticed it during his evening rounds, climbing the winding stairs to check the great lens. The lighthouse had been automated decades ago, but he maintained the old traditions out of love for their rhythm. As he reached the lamp room, something unusual caught his attention. The air itself seemed to shimmer with an almost musical quality, and he could hear the softest of voices drifting through the circular chamber. They were whispers, soft as silk scarves brushing against each other, and they spoke of dreams. "Emma dreams of dancing with moonbeams," came one voice, clear as crystal chimes. "Her bare feet barely touch the silver grass as she spins through gardens that exist only between sleeping and waking." Another whisper followed, warm as summer. "Honey." Old Henrik sees himself sailing clouds like ships, his weathered hands steady on a helm made of crystallized starlight. Night after night, Jonathan found himself drawn to listen to these ethereal conversations. Gradually, he realized that the lighthouse had developed the extraordinary ability to collect peaceful dreams from everyone within reach of its beacon. The lens designed to send light outward had somehow learned to draw something equally precious inward, the gentle visions that brought rest and healing to sleeping minds. The whispered dreams never contained nightmares or troubled thoughts. Only the most serene visions seemed able to penetrate the lighthouse's mysterious embrace, as if the building itself filtered out darkness, allowing through only dreams that could bring peace to others. Jonathan began to recognize recurring dreamers. There was Clara Dewdrop, the village seamstress, whose dreams were filled with fabrics that felt like captured breezes and threads spun from morning light. Marcus Tidecaller, the young fisherman, dreamed of silver fish swimming through streams of pure music, their scales reflecting melodies that felt familiar to every heart. But it was the dreams of a child named River that touched Jonathan most deeply. River lived in the old keeper's cottage with a family of artists who had moved to Twilight Bay seeking inspiration. At only 6 years old, River possessed a dreamer's heart that seemed to understand magic intuitively. In River's dreams, the lighthouse was a gentle giant who collected dreams not to keep them, but to blend them like colors on an artist's palette, creating new visions more beautiful than any single dream could achieve alone. The lighthouse keeper was a dream gardener who could plant whispered hopes and grow forests of peaceful sleep. As winter settled over Twilight Bay, Jonathan discovered something remarkable. The dreams weren't just being collected, they were being woven together, transformed into something greater than the sum of their parts, then gently released back into the world through the lighthouse beam. He first noticed this when Mrs. Appleby, who ran the village tea shop, mentioned having extraordinary dreams about underwater orchestras where sea creatures played choral instruments and sang healing harmonies. The dream was clearly a fusion of Marcus's musical fish and Emma's dancing moonbeams, somehow blended together and gifted to Mrs. Appleby's sleeping mind. Dr. Willowbrook, the village physician, began reporting unusual improvements in his patients' sleep quality. "People throughout the Bay Area seem to be sleeping more peacefully," he told Jonathan. "Even my most troubled patients report dreams of such beauty that they wake feeling renewed." What Dr. Willowbrook didn't realize was that his own dreams were part of the nightly symphony, visions of healing waters that could mend broken hearts as easily as broken bones. medicines made from crystallized laughter, and a world where every illness was simply a forgotten dream waiting to be remembered. As winter nights grew longer, Jonathan spent more time in the lamp room, listening to the ever-growing chorus of whispered dreams. He began to understand that he had become something more than a lighthouse keeper. He was now the guardian of a sanctuary where the most precious thoughts of sleeping minds could find safety and connection. One particularly still night when the bay was smooth as a mirror, Jonathan heard a voice he recognized as his own joining the whispered chorus. "Jonathan dreams of connection," the voice said softly. "He dreams of solitude transformed into sanctuary, of loneliness becoming a gathering place for peace." In that moment, Jonathan understood that he too had become part of the Lighthouse's collection. His journey from isolation to purpose was being woven into the tapestry of dreams that radiated outward each night. That night, he experienced the most vivid dream of his adult life. He stood at the center of a vast web of silver light, connecting every sleeping person within the Lighthouse's influence. Dreams flowed along these luminous threads like pearls on an invisible string, each one carrying gifts of peace and healing to hearts that needed them most. When spring arrived, Jonathan made a decision that would change both his life and the lives of everyone touched by the Lighthouse's gift. He began inviting the people whose dreams he had been tending to visit the lighthouse during evening hours. His first guests were River and the child's parents. As they sat together in the lamp room during the first whispers of the night, River listened with the serious attention of someone who understood they were witnessing magic. "The dreams are making friends," River observed, small hands pressed against the warm stone wall. "They're sharing their favorite parts and making new dreams that are even more beautiful." Soon, word spread quietly through Twilight Bay about the lighthouse's peaceful evening atmosphere. People began to visit regularly, drawn by the profound sense of rest and connection that seemed to flow from the building. Clara brought samples of her softest fabrics for visitors to touch while listening to the dreams. Emma began leading gentle movement sessions. Marcus shared his knowledge of sea sounds, teaching visitors to distinguish between the different voices of wind and wave that accompanied the dream chorus. By summer's end, the lighthouse had become a beloved gathering place for what the community called dream circles. Small groups would meet each evening to sit quietly, listen to the whispered dreams, and experience the deep relaxation that seemed to emanate from the lighthouse's unique gift. Jonathan's role transformed from solitary keeper to gentle guide, helping visitors understand and appreciate the mysterious phenomenon they were witnessing. Simply listening to peaceful dreams had profound therapeutic effects, helping people process their own worries while connecting them to the broader community of dreamers. Dr. Willowbrook began documenting the health benefits experienced by regular visitors, significant improvements in sleep quality, reduced anxiety, and an overall sense of well-being that seemed to radiate outward into the entire community. As autumn returned, marking the first anniversary of the lighthouse's awakening, as a dream collector, Jonathan reflected on how profoundly his understanding of purpose had evolved. The lonely keeper who had once treasured solitude had become someone who facilitated healing and connection for others. On the anniversary night, as Jonathan sat surrounded by a small circle of regular visitors, the whispered dreams seemed to crescendo into perfect harmony, as if every sleeping mind connected to the lighthouse was singing together in peaceful unison. "Thank you, Keeper of Dreams," the voices whispered as one, "for showing us that our dreams are threads in a great tapestry of peace, that in sleep we are all connected, that the gentlest thoughts can heal the deepest wounds." The lighthouse beam pulsed with unusual brightness that night, and everyone present could feel waves of tranquility spreading outward across the bay, carrying the gift of peaceful dreams to an ever-widening circle of sleeping souls. In the months that followed, the lighthouse's influence continued to grow. Sailors passing through the waters near Twilight Bay reported unusually restful sleep. Travelers at nearby inns found themselves waking refreshed after nights filled with dreams more beautiful than any they could remember. River, now 7, and possessed of remarkable insight into the dream patterns, had become Jonathan's unofficial apprentice. The child had an intuitive ability to help newcomers feel comfortable with the lighthouse's gentle magic. "Dreams are like shy butterflies," River would explain to visiting families, eyes bright with wonder. "They only come out when it's quiet and safe. The lighthouse is like a special garden where dream butterflies feel safe to visit and play together." As Jonathan's second year as dreamkeeper began, he realized he had discovered something precious beyond his original seeking of solitude. The lighthouse had taught him that true peace rarely exists in isolation, but flourishes when shared, when nurtured, and when allowed to flow freely between hearts that are open to receiving it. The whispered dreams continued their nightly symphony, weaving together the sleeping thoughts of everyone within the lighthouse's expanding circle of influence. The beam that had once merely warned ships of dangerous rocks now carried something far more valuable, the promise that peaceful sleep awaited all who needed it. And so the lighthouse fulfilled its dual purpose, guiding vessels safely through treacherous waters and guiding dreams safely through the vast oceans of sleep, ensuring that every whispered hope and peaceful vision found its way to the heart that needed it most. In the gentle pulse of the beacon, in the soft chorus of whispered dreams, in the healing power of shared peace, the miracle continued. One restful night at a time, one gentle dream at a time, one whispered blessing at a time. Rest now, dear dreamer, and let your own peaceful thoughts join the nightly symphony that rises from Twilight Bay, where all gentle dreams are welcomed, all weary souls find sanctuary, and all who sleep are connected by silver threads of shared serenity that stretch across the waters and into the infinite realm, where all dreams find their home. Sleep well and dream peacefully.